Self-awareness and self-care are the two most important things when you're trying to heal. If you do not know how to take care of yourself, you do not know how to slow down, you don't know how to calm down your own body, your nervous system, you don't have any self-care activities like walks, meditation, breathing, relaxation activities, things like that, then you're going to be stuck in a constant loop in your own mind, your own nervous system. On the other side of it, if you're not self-aware, if you don't realize what you're doing and how it's affecting your symptoms, you'll be stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage. This is what I've seen over and over and over again with clients. They come into me, often they ask for supplements. They're supplements. Oh, well, which supplements are going to fix me? And this is what they've been trained to think because they've gone to all these practitioners who are trying to just simply pull out more and more supplements to fix the issue. But the reality is most of these issues cannot be fixed by supplements because they've gotten so far. They've gotten to the point where the immune system is triggered for so long. It's been triggered so many times that now it's conditioned to produce all these inflammatory molecules. So how do you get the person out of this scenario? This is what people ask me every day because I deal with only the people who have been to 100 other doctors. Nobody calls me, obviously, who've been to 100 other doctors. And this is the situation I'm in. So I have to help people become more self-aware of what they're doing and how it's affecting the way they're feeling. So I have them write down what they're eating. I have them write down some of their thoughts, the counterproductive thoughts, the fears, the perceived danger, etc. The thought loops, the challenging thoughts, the things that keep popping up in their mind. I have them write down everything they're eating and the times they're eating it. I have them write down the symptoms that pop up and the times they pop up. So they start to become more self-aware of what they're eating and how it's affecting how they're feeling and what they're thinking on a daily basis, how many times they're thinking these thoughts over and over again, or anytime something happens that triggers them. I have to tell them to write down anything that happens, that emotionally triggers them. They jot it down on a piece of paper, and then they start to see the patterns and the things that are triggering them. And then they start to see, wow, why is this thing triggering me over and over and over again? What do I think about this thing that's making me react this way, right? Because you're the one in control of your reactions, okay? This thing is happening, but you're the one reacting, So we help people understand the storylines that they have attached to these things, which cause them to have these reactions to these things when they come about in their life. And once they detach from the storyline or they change the storyline, then they can observe this thing and not be triggered. On the other side, I help people observe what they're eating, right? And how that's connecting. So they may eat at 9 o'clock in the morning, may have oats and start itching at 10:30 a.m. Well, that's obviously a correlation, right? So you ask the person, what are you eating? How are you feeling? And you start trying to connect the dots there. Because if they don't see what they're doing, it's a self-sabotage in terms of what they're putting in their mouth and what they're thinking, they're never going to get better. And that's the reality with this chronic illness type of situation. When these complex chronic illnesses, have been around, these people have had these for several years. How are you going to get out of this situation unless you help them become aware of their own self-sabotage and you start to recondition the immune system by removing the triggers. So the three main areas that trigger people are what you're consuming, what you're inhaling, and what you're thinking. If you remove those things, you make change in those areas, you can recondition the immune system and help people get to a point where they start to heal. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, self-awareness and self-care are the most important things you need to heal. Don't neglect them.